Hi all. So previously we had checked how we can integrate Cypress Test Runner into an Angular 12 project. So today we will be focusing more on the Cypress integration test, how we can create integration tests using Cypress in an Angular 12 project. So for today's video, I have already added Cypress to an Angular 12 project. And now when I run the Angular project, what happens is I have a login page where I can provide some username and password. And when I press submit, it will be calling a login API. And in case it returns true, it will be navigating to the next page. Or in case it returns false, it will be showing an error message here. So here I am giving an invalid password. It will show an error message. And in case I give a correct password, it will be navigating to the next page, showing some images. So now let's see how we can run end-to-end tests for this particular application using Cypress. So the Cypress project has a configuration file, that is a cypress.json file. So inside this, there are multiple keys which we can provide. So first we will be looking at this integration folder key. So this is basically where the Cypress will be looking for our integration test cases. So we have provided that the folder inside the folder Cypress, there will be a folder called integration, and whatever comes inside, it will be treated as an integration test. So let's go ahead and add a spec file here. So here we are going to write our first integration test. So the syntax used in Cypress is basically derived from Mocha, Chai, Cinnamon, etc. So we can first define a test suite. So here we need to describe the name of the test suite, and we will also provide a callback where we will be writing our integration test. So here I am giving the name as login page test. I will save this. Now let's stop our application and let's run the command nge2e. So nge2e basically it will do two things. It will start our UI application and then it will start the Cypress test runner. So our Cypress test runner is up. So here you can see that the new spec file which we had created, it is getting listed here. Now either we can run the spec by clicking on this login.spec, or here we have the play button. So in case there are multiple spec files, it will be running all the spec files when I click the play button. And when we click on a particular spec, it will run that spec alone. So now the current browser which is selected is the Chrome 94, and I am going to click on the login spec. So a separate browser, Chrome browser, has been opened, and here you can see that the login spec is getting run. So what happened is it is by default showing the default blank page of Cypress. So first thing we need to do for testing our application is we need to visit our app. So let's do that in our spec file. So now let's create our first test case. So we need to give the it keyword and we need to give a title for our test case. So I'm giving login success, and we will be giving the callback. So inside this, first thing we are going to do is we are going to visit our web application. So almost all the commands which are available in Cypress begins with the Cypress object, that is CY. Within that, we will have multiple commands or assertions. So basically there are two types. So the first command we will be visiting is the visit. So visit, basically we can provide a URL. So we can go to that particular web application or web URL. So here inside this, we can either give the entire URL of our application. So since we are serving it, it will be localhost 4200. Or what we can do is within our cypress.json, we can define a base URL. So there we will be giving our localhost 4200, and we can just give the relative path here. So I am giving / here. So if you go to the routing module, you can see that the default route is the login. So in case I didn't give anything, it will be going to the login route. So now let's go to our browser. You can see that actually the visit command got executed, and this is the command panel where you can see like all the commands and assertions which got executed, the results. So what happened is the login page test is the test suite, and within that the particular it got executed, and you can see the test body. Within that you can see the first command, that is the visit. So I have given the URL as / and what happened is it has fetched that particular page, and you can see the URL that is pointing to the login. So now let's add an assertion. So one thing to note is that each of these commands which we execute is asynchronous, but even then we do not have to wait for anything. Like the Cypress automatically waits and ensures that a particular command is completed, and then only it will execute the next command. So internally it makes use of something similar to promises. So now let's ensure that we visited the correct page. So for that, you can make use of the URL command. So cy.url returns the current URL. And since we are using a promise like structure, we will be able to chain multiple commands. So here, the cy.url, I am again chaining so that I can check whether I am in the login page. So for that assertion, we can make use of the should. So here inside the should method, we can give the chainer. So a lot of options are automatically suggested. So what I am going to give now is the include. So I am checking whether the current URL includes the /# login. So I am giving the login URL part. Now ideally it should pass. So here you can see that the assertion got executed, and it is showing that the login is included within our URL. So next what we need to do is we need to fill out the username. So here we have a feature called selector playground. So once you click on that, you can select the different like the labels, the input box, everything, and it will be showing. Once you click, you will be getting the selectors. So even it will be giving the command which can be used for selecting that. And one more option is the CI contains. CUI get is basically similar to the jQuery selectors. Like you can use selectors for selecting an element, and CUI contains basically you will be able to select an element using the text content. So let's go ahead with the CUI get. So we can use the same command here, CUI.get. So within that we can give the selector. So selector is username. So this is basically selecting by ID, the hash symbol. And once you get hold of that reference, you can make use of the type command, and you can give the string which you need to type. So I am giving admin. So now let's see what happens. So when I execute the command, you can see that the text which I gave the admin, it is shown here in the username field. So here one thing is that actually we can use time travel while going through, while just hovering over each of these commands. So first you can see when I visited, the URL is changing here to 4200 and all the field was empty. So after that the URL changed and the assertions got success. Then when I selected the username, it is getting highlighted, and when I hover on this, you can see that a red icon is coming, which is basically showing that one action is happening, and it is showing the before and after snapshot. So before it was empty, and after typing it has the value admin. So this is one advantage of time travel, and each of these are screenshots which are automatically taken by Cypress when we execute a particular command. So now let's just ensure that the value within that field matches with the value which we typed in. So here again I am using the should assertion, and I can use the have value, and I can check whether it is equal to admin. So once I run the command, you can see that the assertion is success because both the values admin. So in case I had given a wrong value like admin 1 here, so what happens is you can see that it takes some time to run the command or the assertion. So what happens is actually it is retrying automatically, and the retry time by default is 4 seconds. So in case within that the error comes, it will keep on retrying 2 times and it will exit. So there are two kind of errors. So one is the assertion error. So assertion error means basically the assertion failed because we are trying to equate admin with admin one. So that is one kind of error. Another kind of error is the Cypress error, which we will take a look later. So now let's go ahead and try to fill in the password field. So here it is selector is pwd. So here I am using the get to select that particular field, and I am typing the same thing admin. So after that we need to press the submit button. So here what I am using is I am going to select the submit button using the test. So I can use the contains. So one thing to note is that you can actually type the values here. So immediately it will show the number of matched elements and it will highlight this matched element. So you can see that the submit button is highlighted. Now if you press F12 and go to the DevTools, here you have one option called print to console. So if you click on that, it will display like all the elements which are currently selected by this particular query. So here you can see that the button is selected. So in case I change to something else, you can see it is showing an error. So I am changing something to test. There is no matched elements. So now let's add this in our test case. So contains, I am giving submit. So basically I selected the button. Now I can change the click action. So once I give this, automatically the submit button will be clicked. So you can see that once it got clicked, it automatically navigated to the next page. And before that, the network call, the /login was called, the API call. And once it returned true value, it automatically navigated to the next route, that is the home route. So now let's just complete our initial test case by validating that we are currently within the home route. So I am again using this URL method and I am asserting that I am currently in the home route. So here you can see that our initial test case is completed successfully. So previously I had told about another kind of error called the Cypress error. So now let's see how we can generate that. So here in case I had omitted the selector here. So actually that is kind of a syntactic error. So now when the test case runs, you can see here that the type has changed to Cypress error. And also here it will be showing the code where the error has occurred along with a stack trace which you can click here, and also print to console in case the developer tool is on. So here you can see that the error gets printed to the console. So now let's go back and add a test case. All these are negative test cases. So for login, in case of empty fields, so the initial parts are similar, but only thing is the data will be empty. So when I press submit, actually it should not go to the home page, and there is an error field within our page. So I am going to select it using the class selector. So I have added a class error. So here if you go to our login component, you can see that there is a hidden p tag where we have added a class, and the error message will depend based on the error. So in case I have not filled all the required fields, it will be expecting this error. So here we are selecting that, and we are asserting that it is having the text fill all the fields. So now let's run our test. So we don't need this type since the value is already empty. So here you can see that multiple test cases are executed, and this is our empty test case. So here you can see automatically the error message is getting displayed here. So again, we can do the same thing using multiple combinations of username and password. So I'll just repeat all these. So here I will add the type. So here I am giving some value, but password is empty. So I need to give the should as well. So again, it has successfully passed. Now we will do the same thing for an empty password. So here I am clearing the username field and I am asserting it as empty. And here in the password, I am typing some value and I am giving the same thing in the assertion here. So again, it is successfully executed. So one thing you would have noticed is that I am using the same selector here again and again. So in case there is an option called alias, which we can use here. So here I am defining an alias called user. So this alias basically points to this particular element which we already got using the username ID. So once I define an alias, I can use that alias name later in order to get that same element. So here using the @ symbol and giving the alias name, you will be able to query it in the subsequent places. This will be applicable only within the test case. Once the new test case is executed, the alias will be cleared. So here I am going to define an alias for password as well. And I'll be using that same thing here. So I have used the alias in all the subsequent calls, and now you can see that again the test case got executed successfully. Now let's take a look at two utility commands which are available in Cypress. One is the cy.pause. So what this does is it pauses the execution at a particular place where we give the pause, and after that it displays a debugger kind of controls here. So either you can press the next. So in that case, a single command will be executed, and you can see the results here. So you can step through each of the commands, or you can click resume so that it will continue execution till the end. So another command is the debug. So here this you can change to any particular command, and once you open the developer tools, when it reaches that particular statement or command, it will enable the debugger. So going forward, you will be able to step through each of the commands. So this will be useful in case you need to debug any errors in your Cypress commands. Now let's create a test case for invalid user credentials. So again, I'm adding a new unit test case, and I'm giving as invalid user cred. So here, instead of typing admin, I am giving some invalid user value, the password value, and here I am changing the assertion, and I will ensure that an error message is shown, but not the please fill all fields, but the invalid login. So here I'm changing the text. Now let's see how it executes. So here you can see that it executed successfully, and the error message is shown here. So now there is an option like I can skip or run a particular test case alone. So in order to skip a particular test case, you can give the it.skip. So now you can see that that particular test case got skipped, and you can see the status as well. The tick mark indicates success, and this means actually it is post. So in case I need to run only that particular command, you can use the only it.only so that it executed only the user credentials test case. So now let's add one more test case. So here what we need to prove is like in case the login API fails. So how can we do that? So actually I am going to mock the failure for that particular API. So I am giving the test case as login API fail. So there is a command called intercept. So here I am adding that. So this is the command cy.intercept, and within that you will be able to set up a route. So actually this is called a stub. So whenever the actual call to that particular API, the login API is made, this stub will be executed and it will be returning this particular response. So here what I have done is I have defined the method as post and the URL as /login, and here the status code is given as 500. So it indicates an error scenario in the server, and I am returning a body as null. So now when I go to the login component, we have an error message called login failed. So I should be receiving that particular error. So the test case got executed successfully. So here one thing you can notice that previously when we go to our login API call, it was calling the actual API in the network. But here you can see that the actual thing is a stub. So you can see all the stubs which we defined within our routes. And here we have given the type of the method, the login, stubbed, and also you can give an alias name. So that is similar to what we previously saw. So I am giving as login stub. So the same thing you will be able to see here. So within the routes, you can see the alias name login stub, and you can see that login stub got executed, and you can see the error 500, the status code 500 was returned, and as a result, our login failed. So now let's go ahead and add some tests for the home screen. So I am going to create a spec file home.spec.ts, And within that, I am again going to create a test suite. So I am giving the description home test, and inside the callback, let's create a test for the happy flow. So here I am giving the description of the test, and I will add the callback. So first we need to visit the page. So I can give the URL of the home page, and let's verify that. So using the URL and should, I will check that it contains our home. So now if you go to the spec runner, you can see that the home spec has come. Let's run that. So now both the assertions have been successful, like the URL contains the home, and in our home page you can see that actually there are two images that get displayed here. This is actually dynamic, and it depends on the number of entries we receive from this particular API. So let's go to the network tab and just rerun this one more time. So here you can see this is the response we are getting from our API. So it basically varies. So how can we assert that the data is coming as expected? So what we can do is Cypress provides something called fixtures. So fixture is basically a sample data which we can create, and we can use them in our tests. So let's go ahead and create a JSON file called cities.json, and I am pasting the data as a mock data which I received from the network tab. So here in our cypress.json, we have given the fixtures folder, so that whatever we give inside the fixtures folder, it will be considered as a mock data. So we can use this mock data within our home spec. So for that, we have a command called fixture, and within that we can give the name of our fixture. Once the command is executed, we can access the data within the JSON file using a then. So here we will be getting the cities from our cities.json. So now what we are going to verify is that we need to ensure that there are two entries in our page. So let's open the selector playground, and if we go here, we can see that if I modify this, we can see that there are two p tags, that is the trolley and the chania, and similarly there are two images. So let's verify that it matches with the length of our JSON. So we will use the get and anchoring the p tags. So basically there should be two entries. So have length, we can give as cities dot length. So since the cities is an array, we can verify that it matches with the number of p tags. Similarly, we can use the image tag as well. So now let's run our test. You can see that it is matching. Similarly, we can check for the data which is coming from our fixture file. So if we select here, you are getting a dynamic query like this. Basically, when I change this index, it will be iterating through each of our ng for loop. So I will copy this query. So here we need to give this dynamically. So what we can do is here we can make use of a for loop. So cities dot for each, and within that we can access the individual entry as well as the index. So using that we can iterate through these assertions. So here I am making use of the template literal. So this index will be changing dynamically. And here we can assert that first of all it should be visible. And the second assertion will be the value. So we can chain the assertions. The value should be the city dot name. So first let us run this. So here, since we have not given the type of this, it is asking. So let's define a type. So as we saw earlier, name is string, image is also string. So and alt is another key. So once we give the type, the errors will be going away. So now let's verify that. So one thing to note is that actually the index starts from 0, but however when we use the playground you can say that it actually starts from 1 in the selector. So we need to add a 1 here. So now our test should be successful. You can see that the p tag is visible and the value is also matching. So similarly, let's add assertion for our image as well. So just we'll duplicate the thing, and here we will be using the image, and first we will check whether it's visible, and then we need to check whether the attribute is there. Have attribute. So the first thing is our src, the source. So it will be again a dynamic value. So what it will be, the images are present within our assets folder. So we need to append the assets slash city dot image. That's one assertion. Similarly, we can check whether the alt value is also matching. So here we can check whether it has a prop attribute called alt and the value is city dot alt. So now let's run. So you can see that the second assertion is also successful. So you can see that in our previous test case, we are actually making use of a API called cities. So now let's see how we can mock this API call using fixtures. So I'll create a second test case and name it as mock API. So previously we had seen how we can make use of mock APIs. So we will use the same thing here, the cy intercept command. So we can add this in our test case. And since this is a different method, the get and cities, here we can actually give the fixture we need to use. So cities.json we can give. And now whenever this API is called, this particular stub will be executed and the data within this fixture will be returned as the result. So and changing the name or alias of the stub. Now let's see what has happened. So here you can see that a route has been created and the method is get. The URL matcher, the route matcher is cities, and it is shown that it is stubbed and the alias is also displayed. So when the API is called, actually the stub is called and not the actual API. So the stub retrieves the data whatever we had defined within our fixture. So now suppose we just run this one alone and I am changing the entry within our fixture. So now you can see that single entry only is coming in our page. So you can verify that the data is getting from the stub instead of the actual network code. Cypress also provides a provision to use support files. So these are basically commands which can be run before any particular test suite is executed. So here in our command.ts file, I am adding a before each, and within that I am adding a log command from the cy log, and basically I am just adding a console. So it will be executed before each test case. So now let us import this command file within our index.ts, and in the cypress.json we had given the support file path, so it will be taking it automatically. Now when we run our test cases, you can see that before each of our test case, so this is the first test case, the log is there present. Similarly, before the second test case also the log is present. Similarly, in case we give the before command, it will be executed only a single time before our first test case. So before the second, it is not present. So this is the use of the support files. Similarly, there are plugins which we can write. So basically, we will be able to add some functionalities, modify or extend the internal behavior of Cypress. So I am not going into details. Similarly, if you check the cypress.json, we can define the videos folder and the screenshot folder. So basically, this will include screenshots and videos which are taken by Cypress test runner during the execution of our test cases. So hope you are able to get a better understanding about the basics of how the Cypress test runner works and how you can create integration test cases using Cypress. See you soon. Thank you.